Good day, everyone, and welcome to Foundation of Education under the supervision of Dr. Maida L. Cato. I am your discussant, Glenna Fronda, and today we are going to learn more about society and the concept of social role.
First, let us define society. The term society is from the Latin word societas, which can be translated as a friendly association with others. It is a group of individuals involved in persistent social interaction or a large social group sharing the same spatial or social territory, typically subject to the same political authority and dominant cultural expectations. Societies are characterized by patterns of relationships between individuals who share a distinctive culture and institutions. A given society may be described as the sum total of such relationships among its constituent of members. Conceptions about society. In political science, societies may be structured politically. In order of increasing size and complexity, there are bands, tribes, chiefdoms, and state societies. These structures may have varying degrees of political power depending on the cultural, geographical, and historical environments that these societies must contend with. In sociology, sociologist Peter L. Berger defines society as a human product that yet continuously acts upon its producers. According to him, society was created by humans, but this creation turns back and creates or molds humans every day. Sociologist Gerard Lansky differentiates societies based on their level of technology, communication, and economy. And we have the hunters and gatherers, simple agricultural, advanced agricultural, industrial, and special like fishing societies and maritime societies. Anthropologists Morton H. Fried and Elman Service have produced a system of classification for societies in all human cultures based on the evolution of social inequality and the role of the state. This system of classification contains 4 categories. First, we have the hunter-gatherer bands, which is being categorized based on duties and responsibilities. Second, the tribal societies, in which there are some limited instances of social rank and prestige. Third, stratified structures, which are being led by chieftains. And the last, civilizations with complex social hierarchies and organized institutional governments. In addition to these are humanity or humankind, upon which rest all the elements of society, including society's beliefs. And virtual society, a society based on online identity which is evolving in the information age. Types of society. Societies are social groups that differ according to subsistence strategies, the ways that humans use technology to provide needs for themselves. Although humans have established many types of societies throughout history, anthropologists tend to classify different societies according to the degree to which different groups within a society have unequal access to advantages such as resources, prestige, or power. Sociologists place societies in 3 broad categories: pre-industrial, industrial, and post-industrial. Pre-industrial society. In a pre-industrial society, food production, which is carried out through the use of human and animal labor, is the main economic activity. These societies can be subdivided according to their level of technology and their method of producing food. These subdivisions are hunting and gathering, pastoral, horticultural, agricultural, and feudal. Hunting and gathering. The main form of food production in such societies is the daily collection of wild plants and the hunting of wild animals. Hunter-gatherers move around constantly in search of food. As a result, they do not build permanent villages or create a wide variety of artifacts and usually only form small groups such as bands and tribes. However, some hunting and gathering societies in areas with abundant resources lived in larger groups and formed complex hierarchical social structures such as chiefdom. Pastoral. Pastoralism is a slightly more efficient form of subsistence. Rather than searching for food on a daily basis, members of a pastoral society rely on domesticated herd animals to meet their food needs. Pastoralists live a nomadic life, moving their herds from one pasture to another. Because their food supply is far more reliable, pastoral societies can support larger populations. Horticultural. Fruits and vegetables grown in garden plots that have been cleared from the jungle or forest provide the main source of food in a horticultural society. These societies have a level of technology and complexity similar to pastoral societies. Some horticultural groups use the slash and burn method to raise crops. The wild vegetation is cut and burned, and ashes are used as fertilizers. Horticulturists use human labor and simple tools to cultivate the land for one or more seasons. When the land becomes barren, horticulturists cleared a new plot and leave the old plot to revert to its natural state. Agrarian. Agrarian societies use agricultural technological advances to cultivate crops over a large area. Sociologists use the phrase agricultural revolution to refer to the technological changes that led to cultivating crops and raising farm animals. Feudal. Feudalism was a form of society based on ownership of land. Unlike today's farmers, vassals under feudalism were bound to cultivating their lord's land. In exchange for military protection, the lords exploited the peasants into providing food, crops, crafts, homage, and other services to the landowner. The states of the realm system of feudalism was often multi-generational. The families of peasants may have cultivated their lord's land for generations. Industrial society. Industrial societies rely heavily on machines powered by fuels for the production of goods. This produced further dramatic increases in efficiency. The increased efficiency of production of the Industrial Revolution produced an even greater surplus than before. Now, the surplus was not just agricultural goods but also manufactured goods. This larger surplus caused all of the changes in the domestication revolution to become even more pronounced. Post-industrial society. Post-industrial societies are societies dominated by information, services, and high technology more than the production of goods. Advanced industrial societies are now seeing a shift toward an increase in service sectors over manufacturing and production. The United States is the first country to have over half of its workforce employed in service industries. Service industries include government, research, education, health, sales, law, and banking. And now, let us dig deeper about the concept of social role. A social role is a set of connected behaviors, rights, obligations, beliefs, and norms as conceptualized by people in a social situation. It is an expected or free or continuously changing behavior and may have a given individual social status or social position. It is vital to both functionalists and interactionist understandings of society. Determinants and characteristics of social role. Roles may be achieved or ascribed, or they can be accidental in different situations. An achieved role is a position that a person assumes voluntarily, which reflects personal skills, abilities, and effort. An ascribed role is a position assigned to individuals or groups without regard for merit, but because of certain traits beyond their control, and is usually forced upon a person. Role development can be influenced by a number of additional factors, including social, genetic, predisposition, cultural, or situational. Societal influence. The structure of society often forms individuals into certain roles based on the social situations they choose to experience. Parents enrolling their children in certain programs at a young age increases the chance that the child will follow that role. Genetic predisposition. People take on roles that come naturally to them. Those with athletic ability generally take on roles of athletes. Those with mental genius often take on roles devoted to education and knowledge. This does not mean that people must choose only one path. Each individual can reprise multiple roles. Cultural influence. Different cultures place different values on certain roles based on their lifestyle. Situational influence. Roles can be created or altered based on the situation a person is put in outside their own influence. An example of this is students blaming failure on situational factors like, "The test wasn't fair," and this affects their role as a student. Role theory. Role theory is the sociological study of role development concerned with explaining what forces cause people to develop the expectations of their own and others' behaviors. According to sociologist Bruce Biddle, the 5 major models of role theory include functional role theory, which examines role development as shared social norms for a given social position. These social positions may include leadership. Symbolic interactionist role theory, which examines role development as the outcome of individual interpretation of responses to behavior. Structural role theory, which emphasizes the influence of society rather than the individual in roles and utilizes mathematical models. Organizational role theory, which examines role development in organizations, and cognitive role theory, which summarizes as the relationship between expectations and behaviors. Role conflict. There are situations where the prescribed sets of behavior that characterize roles may lead to cognitive dissonance in individuals. Role conflict is a special form of social conflict that takes place when one is forced to take on 2 different and incompatible roles at the same time. An example of role conflict is a father who is a baseball coach that is torn between his role as a father by wanting to let his son be the pitcher and his role as a coach who should let the more experienced pitcher play. Role confusion. Role confusion occurs in a situation where an individual has trouble determining which role he or she should play, but where the roles are not necessarily incompatible. For example, if a college student attending a social function encounters his teacher as a fellow guest, he will have to determine whether to relate to the teacher as a student or a peer. Role enhancement. Role enhancement or role enrichment refers to a situation in which roles which are held by a person are compatible and moreover enacting one role has beneficial spillover effects on the enactment of the other role. Role strain. Role strain is the incompatibility among roles corresponding to a single status. An example of role strain is a student who is torn between the obligations of school, their parents, and their job. This is role strain because the status of being a student comes with multiple responsibilities that make it difficult to handle all at the same time. Gender roles. Gender roles are sets of behavioral norms assumed to accompany one's status as male or female. Gender roles are one of the most popular strains of thought to evolve from role theory because it can be applied to one's status as a male or female in everyday life. It has been argued that gender constitutes as a master status because the status of gender holds a power in society. And that concludes my report. But before I end it, allow me to share to you a quotation from Karl Marx that says, "Society does not consist of individuals but expresses the sum of interrelations, the relations within which these individuals stand." Thank you and keep safe.